Hello, Zelda Speedruns! How are we doing today? Today we have the Link's Awakening, which any percent no D2 Helix Award Tournament Loser Bracket Round 3 of Jumns versus TheLimeFilms. And I am joined today by the one and only TGH.
Hello. Welcome, everyone. This is going to be a really good race.
Yes, it is. With that, I'm going to leave it to TGH because he's the expert. I'm not. So,
well, I don't know about expert.
Well, you know more than I do, so I'll leave this to you now.
All right, sweet. Thank you very much. All right, so we have a pretty good. We got a pretty good matchup for you today. This is going to be a matchup between Jumns and Lime. Frankly, two of the greats in this game, honestly. So you've got Jumns, who recently was moved down to the lower bracket via a loss to Strackle last time, and the TheLimeFilms, who I think pretty early was moved down to the lower bracket, but has been moving his way through the lower bracket in an attempt to make it back to where he feels he needs to be at the end. Yeah, so it looks like we're going to be... let me check the challenge page here. Not the challenge page, excuse me, the racetime.gg page, which is... Oh, we started. Cool. All right. So I guess I don't need to check that, do I? All right, and the racers are off. So there's not much going on in the early game. Mostly just a lot of walking to enter Dungeon 1. We are playing in German because German is the fastest language. Just simply the fewest text boxes. Yeah, in this game we can skip text instantaneously. So all that really matters is the amount of text boxes from beginning to end. And it just so happens that, funnily enough, it's not even because of the language, it's just because of the way it's formatted by the translators. Funny enough, German is the fastest language because it does have the fewest amount of text boxes. So both runners getting the sword. And they should be using either the shield or the sword to cancel the spin slash animation. You see Jumps getting it there, and Lime, they're both doing it the same way with the shield. Which I believe is the optimal way by just a little bit. Yeah, both runners in the early going. You know, before you enter Dungeon 2, or before you even enter Dungeon 1, really, it's just about trying your best to save frames with walking, optimal movement. There isn't a lot going on. The runners will be trying to do some, not necessarily manipulation, but AI reading on the moblins up here in order to slow down or, you know, be impeded by their movements as little as possible. Oh, I'm going under the moblins there. Jums didn't seem to be impeded too much. Really good RNG on Jums' side with the keys, while Lime has to kill both of them there. Yeah, it's just little things. Jums getting the push cancel on the rock. Alright, so that's... Okay. That might just be an automatic win for Jums right there. He saved at least a quarter of a second on that rock push. Commanding lead for Jums right now. Commanding lead, at least half a second. Oh, but he fails that one. Okay, so... And the race is evened up, folks. Keith's being friendly on the way back room as well. Nice little shield boop on the Moblin for both players there. Lime unfortunately having to kill that first Moblin. But yeah, there are little things you can do, little ways to position yourself relative to the Moblins there to get them to move the way you want them to. You want both those Moblins to move upward. And sometimes they're able to do that, and sometimes, you know, like it's RNG when exactly they aggro you. So it's hard to get the perfect like AI manipulation every time. I see Lime with a little bit of a miss menu there. That is why I always wait to leave the shop before equipping that powder. Because when you're holding down, that can happen. I think what happened was like the cursor just moved downward. Not necessarily on its own, but like just because he was holding down at the same time. That can happen sometimes. Got some raccoon action here. Let's see where Terran stops for both runners. Oh, nice and out of the way for both of them.
Yeah.
And both runners getting the tail key at pretty much the same time. I can't tell if this is perfectly synced or not. Doesn't quite seem like the runners have their own individual timers on the stream, so we won't really know exactly how the sync is throughout the run. So I'm just going to comment as if they start at the same time. So it looks like Jumns has a little bit of a lead, and will have a little bit of a lead entering Dungeon 1. But trust me when I say, if you've never seen a run of this game before, if you, let me say this, if you have seen a run of this game before, you know that this is a very negligible lead. It's not that kind of game. This game is pretty important when it comes to the large skips or tricks. And whoever does win this race, it will come down to that, most likely. Will come down to who is the most consistent with the larger skips. The first one of them, and actually one of the most consistent ones, being after Dungeon 1. But first, let's actually do Dungeon 1, shall we? Once again, Dungeon 1's all about just saving frames where you can. See Lime avoiding that red gel while Jumns walking around it. Excuse me, I got mixed up there. Jumns actually slashed the gel. Lime actually walked around it. A nice little trap boost there from Jumns as well. Lime getting the same thing. Good RNG from the keys on both sides. Jumns not quite clearing the opening. I don't know what you call that. Like you can completely skip that the spark there. Both players getting the double powder on the spikies there. Spinies? Turtles. They're turtles. Screw it. We're just going to calmly walk up here and get one of the best items in the game, the Rock's Feather, which is essentially a jump button. I don't know why Link needs a feather to jump, but you know what? I'm not here to argue about that. Both runners also successfully getting the single slash. I don't know what you call these. I don't know what you call like any enemies in this game. The beetles. Yeah, okay, there we go. Successfully getting the beetles in one slash. So you might have noticed, you might be wondering why the players got that left key after getting the feather as opposed to getting it before. It does save time because the game does give you a little bit of extra dialogue if you get that key first. But if you get a second, the game's like, I already gave you the dialogue that, I would have given you anyway on the treasure chest, so. Nightmare key get. And we're going to head over to fight Rollin' Bones. There are a couple different ways to fight Rollin' Bones. And if I'm not mistaken, I think both runners do the spin slash strat. Oh no, Lime's going for the 8 slash strat. Got away from a little bit there, but pretty well handled. Seemed like Jums also got some pretty good fight there as well. Although the fight did end in the lower corner of the room. Maintaining a little bit of a lead on Lime going into Moldorm. Oh, pretty comfortable fight for Jums. And for Lime both. Very, very nice fights. Good D1s on both sides. Once again, Jums maintaining a little bit of a lead. Coming out of Dungeon 1, grabbing that heart container maybe about 4 seconds before Lime. And we're going to make our way up towards Dungeon 2. So, ordinarily, entering Dungeon 2, or before you enter Dungeon 2, you would rescue a character in the game called Bow Wow, who's essentially this bowling ball that thinks he's a dog. I don't know, it's weird. But anyway, so what the players are going to do, and trust me, they both know what they're doing here. They're going to grab a Kuko from Mobby Village, and this Kuko is going to serve as a bit of a deflection mechanism, quite literally, actually. And this skip is going to involve a like, southwest of Dungeon 2. And upon getting grabbed by this like, the Kuko that they take from Mobby Village is going to rest on top of them and basically deflect the launch up onto the trees to the south of Ryla's telephone booth. And you'll see. If this all sounds crazy, you'll see. You'll understand. So Lime having to walk a little bit further for that Kuko, unfortunately. It's pretty in the way for Jums. Damage boost from Jums. Doesn't save any time, but... Yeah, Lime getting the same thing. I don't think health should be an issue for either of these runners, though. Jums needs to get a little bit closer to that like. There we go. Meanwhile, Lime pulling off Bow Wow skip on the trees before Jums. Jums having a little bit of trouble still. Manipulating his like to do what he wants. And up on the trees is Jums. So Lime actually taking the lead, entering Dungeon 2. Lime, I believe, has about a 15 or so second lead. But yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. Like these skips can play such a huge part in this run, which comes as no surprise to anybody who's watching. And Jums kind of stood there for about 5 seconds at the beginning of Dungeon 2. Only adding to Lime's lead right now. Oh, Lime needs to... Is Lime not doing Genie Skip? He needs to go back and get that key. Lime's skipping the button key. That's very interesting. Jums not skipping the key. I'm interested. Is Lime gonna... I wonder if Lime is gonna not do Genie Skip. Well, at this point, I think it would actually be faster for Lime to just finish Dungeon 2. Maybe not quite, but a good dodge there from Lime. Good dodge on the Hinox grab. Almost grabbed him a little bit. Yeah, so okay, Genie Skip is a skip that runners will do. Runners will actually split Dungeon 2 into 2 parts. And I'm interested to see if Lime is going to do this. Actually, I think either way you'd need that key. But essentially, oh yeah, Lime is going to finish Dungeon 2. Interesting, Lime opting to not do Genie Skip. So ordinarily, or not ordinarily, but like, it is a route choice after all. So Lime is actually going for a, oh no, he's getting that key. Oh, okay. Alright. Never mind everything I just said. It's a, okay, so Genie Skip is something that runners will typically do. They'll split Dungeon 2 into 2 parts, and they'll come back later with the boots, because the boots are required to do the skip. Yeah, that's an interesting routing decision for Lime. But works nonetheless. I wonder if he just forgot the first one and then went to get the second one. Which is honestly perfectly valid. Both runners buying the Tracy potion for a skip later that I'll go over later, because I need to explain this first skip first. So basically, both runners will come back to Dungeon 2 later and attempt Genie Skip. And what Genie Skip is it's essentially a clip out of the boss room using the boots. It involves the boots, and I'll go over it more once that time actually comes. But both runners now approaching Mabe Village, and we're going to do some stealing. Lime successfully stealing the shovel. Just walking right out of the shop. And life lessons from straight from Colin Island, by the way. If you steal items, if you steal merchandise, you will die. It's just the fact of life. The shopkeeper will personally murder you in cold blood, but it's okay because you get to keep the item. It's fine. Everything's okay. And now we're going to be doing Villa Skip. Lime approaching the pincers over here. We're going to stun these pincers in just the right way up against these southern trees in order to walk on top of it. That position looks really good. And he's up on top. And, oh, okay, he was a little bit off. He's going to have to, yeah, he's going to have to save and reload, unfortunately. He was just a little bit off-center. You got to be, like, really close to the middle of these pincers. Jump off. You might just rush it a little bit. Jum's retaking the lead on Villa Skip. There we go. Lime successfully getting it on the second try. Jums is the first to get that slime key, so retaking the lead is Jums. Yeah, so essentially what's done there is, so you notice that both runners fell in the hole. That is a way for you to, you can get on the pincers without falling in the hole, but it's really, really difficult and arguably slower, even if you do it perfectly. So like we all just decide to fall in the hole. And when you fall in the hole, you spawn on top. If you stun the pincer in the right spot, you will spawn on top of the, and by the right spot, I mean, like, you know, as soon as you can. Like, it has to do with the timing of the powder sprinkle to stun it. Like, the earlier you do it, the better. And if you do it early enough, you can actually spawn on top of the pincer via falling in the hole. And when you do that, you can walk on top of the pincer because for whatever reason it has collision that allows you to walk on. And then just get on top of the trees and enter, or not enter Dungeon 3, but get the key to enter Dungeon 3. Right there. So Jums is going to be rocking half a heart here for a little bit. I should get a bunch of health in the next room though, because I know he does a strat that slashes both enemies, or slashes all 4 enemies upwards here, I think. Or he used to. Apparently he doesn't anymore. Thought he did. My bad. So yeah, he needs to be a little bit careful here. In this room, these keys can be a little trolly. Alright, yeah, he's gonna make sure he grabs that heart, and it's a good thing he did. Yeah, you can see like 20 minutes in, or almost 20 minutes in, and these runners are pretty neck and neck in the same room even. Oh, Jums is deciding not to get the piece of power that dropped right there. Lime also not getting the piece of power that dropped. So because we never finished Dungeon 2, we actually have to go this way in Dungeon 3 to get bombs. Because completing Dungeon 2 sets a flag that lets bombs be available to buy in the shop. Both players a bite, yes. Both players about to fight the Dodongo snakes in Dungeon 3. These guys are some of my least favorite enemies in the game. But yeah, these guys will move 4 times. And then you can place a bomb in front of them and they'll eat it. Or choose not to eat it. Okay, 1 down and 2 down for Lime. Jum's missing 1 push cancel, but then getting the second one. Pretty clutch to even himself out there. I think Jums just attempts push canceling on every single block. Jums getting the Nightmare Key, approaching the Bombite room to the north. This room can be interesting. There are a couple different ways to handle these guys, but Jums getting the double. And an extra bomb in the process as well. That's actually really nice. Meanwhile, Lime getting battered a little bit there, but a pretty nice room there for Lime. That dodge, though. That dodge at the end, I don't know how that didn't hit him. That was pretty sweet. Hitboxes can be pretty strange on the explosions on those Bombites. So now, both players will be going to get the 300 rupee chest in Dungeon 3 that they'll need later to get the Frog Song of Soul. Oh, good recovery there from Lime. He got the weird quirk where if you slash and then immediately jump, your sword just loses its charge. I swear that's like a frame-perfect jump or something, I don't know. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Alright, so now there's only one thing left to do in Dungeon 3, and that's go fight Slime Eye, also called Gigazol. Alright, so the premise of this boss is, essentially, you're going to need to hit the eye like the middle, you know, the eye on the eye, 4 times, and then dash through the middle to divide it into 2 different eyes. And then both of those eyes will be handled separately. Yeah, that other eye just spawned a little bit too far away for the 0 cycle for Jumns, and a little bit as well for Lime too. You can kill this boss without Piece of Power, without having that second eye go up, but it's very hard. Requires extremely clean movement, and also you need to get lucky as well. Like, really lucky, actually. But both players finishing Dungeon 3, and it looks like Jumps has about a 10-second lead or so through Dungeon 3, but coming up, though, on the split, after the players activate the Seashell Mansion Warp and get the Ocarina, they'll both be doing the Fox version of the Angler Key skip, which is a pretty volatile skip in this category. So I'll go ahead and explain how it works now, I suppose, so that we can actually like focus on, you know, not explaining the trick or like right before it's done. So the Fox, okay. I mentioned the Fox version. The Fox has a very unique property in this game. It's one of the few things, or even maybe even the only thing, I don't remember if there's anything else, but it is one of the few things in the game that will continue to move after Link dies. And you'll notice that, or if you'll remember, after Dungeon 2, both runners bought a Tracy potion. You might have been wondering why. That's because they're going to essentially death abuse using the Fox. Or not really using the Fox to death abuse, but like performing a death abuse in combination with the Fox actually like jumping up at Link while he's dead in the air to push him on top of the keyhole near Dungeon 4, which is going to allow us to not get the key at all and just enter Dungeon 4 through the waterfall. And that does involve luring the Fox, also known as hitting the Fox over and over and over and over, all the way up to like the northern middle part of the map. It's a pretty long trek. But yeah, this skip essentially, if this skip is failed, though, it does lose the runners about 2 minutes, maybe a little bit less than 2 minutes. So this is a pretty crucial point for both runners. They are very close together. I think Lime did make up a little bit of time on jumps between the end of Dungeon 3 and here. But as soon as the song is over, see that cute little fox? We're just gonna slash it over and over and over. Movement with the fox too can get pretty interesting because it involves some pretty interesting movement involving slashing the fox while in the air. Yeah, it's looking like the difference is about 7 or 8 seconds in favor of jumps. But this fox movement, as well as the hopefully successful execution of the skip itself, will prove to be very important. Jump sets up very close to that ladder. Yeah, Lime does very much the same thing. So that's that is a way to get the fox up on the ladder, by the way, is by planting a bomb, going to climb up the ladder, and waiting for the fox to aggro you from down below once it takes damage. Perfect position there from Jumps with that fox. Yeah, Lime getting a good position there too. So what they'll do is they'll actually bait the fox up onto this platform here, or up onto that ledge, and then just dash around, which is way faster and way smoother than hitting the fox for it to go all the way to the left and all the way around that cliff. Looks like Jums is going to get to the keyhole first. And we'll see how precise he decides to be with this this setup, or how much time he decides to take to actually set it up. Talking to the fox. There's the slash, jump, and perfect. Very nicely done from Jums. Lime coming up on the same trick, and Lime, unfortunately, does not quite pull it off. That's very unfortunate. So Lime losing probably about 1 minute and 50 seconds there, unfortunately. And that is going to be a commanding lead for Jums in Dungeon 4. Or at least entering Dungeon 4, because there's another skip here, which can be a bit of a troll on Jums' side. Once he gets his key right here, he's actually going to backtrack through the dungeon and attempt something I call the D4 bomb jump. I've also heard names like D4 double key skip. I think I've even heard cue ball quicker a few times. Yes, this does involve a skew and a throw of the bomb, which is essentially not necessarily out of bounds, but up onto the invisible collision there, and Jums pulls it off without a problem. Never a doubt. Meanwhile, Lime reapproaching the angler key skip, while Jums does the arrow strat, and oh, interesting finish there with a dash instead of a spin slash. Very nicely done. Getting the flippers, and we'll be auto-loading out. We'll be splitting Dungeon 4 just like we split Dungeon 2. But the reason this time is actually to skip a side quest. And skipping the side quest saves several minutes. So Lime setting up once again. He really doesn't want to miss this again. Setting up for it. Trying to get that fox in as good of a position as he can. Slashing. And gets it the second time. Nicely done. Yeah, that is absolutely one of the more volatile skips in the run. That's a pretty big one. If you miss that one, that's a pretty big setback, unfortunately. But getting it the second time. Meanwhile, Jums getting the best song in the game. Mambo's Mambo allows you to warp throughout the different warp locations in the world. And right now, Jums is going to warp to the Seashell Mansion and enter Dungeon 5. In the meantime, Limes will be Limes, oh my god. The combination of Jums and Lime, their names. Limes, nice. Meanwhile, Lime approaching the D4 bomb jump, which does require pretty precise position and angle here for that throw. Seems like everybody's got a different setup for that, but Lime pulling it off without a problem. Having to kill that Stalfos. That guy's such a troll. Meanwhile, Jums entering Dungeon 5, approaching one of the worst rooms in the game. This Helmosaur can be very trolly. Nice little sneak from behind attack there. TheLimeFilms. Lime grabbing the flippers and will be auto-loading out himself. Never did mention auto-loading. Auto-loading is really only useful in dungeons to basically every time something important happens, like for instance you get a key, you open a door, you open a chest, etc. The game will auto-save. The game will automatically save your progress, and it has a little like save file that's dedicated to the autosaves. Upon reloading that file, which has saved your progress, you will warp to the beginning of the dungeon, and it's a useful little it's a save warp essentially, but without the actual saving on your end, which is nice. It's a save and quit, except it's not a save and quit. Except it is. I don't know. It saves time. That's all you need to know. So Jum's successfully doing the Master Stalfos 1 fight. We fight this guy 4 times. I don't know why, but we do. We just fight him 4 times. And the fight is pretty much the same every time. Except for the 4th time. The 4th time it gets interesting. Yeah, Master Stalfos just involves laying that bomb as soon as you can and then slashing. What a room there from Lime. That was a sick room. Yeah, that room can be a huge troll, but if the Helmosaur turns away from you like that, that's really nice. Oh. Oh, that red Stalfos is getting up in his business. Meanwhile, Jums will be attempting the skip. I didn't see if he safety saved. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but this particular skip that Jums is going to be attempting is pretty... It's one of the more ridiculous looking tricks in the run. So essentially, what he's going to do is he's going to try and kill this Master Stalfos in the corner, just like that. He's going to try and keep him there. And then get under the hookshot as it spawns. Pop the hookshot up in the air with the bomb, and then use that bomb in picking up said bomb to clip into the hookshot and launch them both up onto the wall. And if done correctly, like that, you can walk on the walls to the instrument. And that, my friends, is Dungeon 5. Do not ask me how that works. I am a race car driver. I'm not an engineer. I don't know how that works. It's something to do with clipping into the hookshot. That's all I can tell you. Meanwhile, Lime doing the 3rd Master Stalfos fight. Yeah, so unfortunately, even though, you know, we do skip Slimeal, we do have to come back into the hookshot because as of right now, there's no way that we know of to get the hookshot. We don't even know where the hookshot goes. Jums will be warping back to the Seashell Mansion. This saves a little bit of time over just swimming back. It saves like only a few seconds, really. If there's a little glitch there outside Dungeon 5 where you can actually. It's a fun fact, by the way, completely unrelated to this run, but you can actually enter. Like there's a section. There's an underwater section right before Dungeon 5. Meanwhile, Lime is doing the safety save there before Slime Meal Skip. There's a little underwater section there. You can enter the right side of that underwater section from the... Excuse me. You can enter the left side of that underwater section from the right side if you do something pretty specific. If you do that, you can get only swimming back to be only just a few seconds slower than warping, but warping is still faster. While Jumps going through the Armos maze pretty comfortably, does have a bit of health. Well, I said comfortably, and that's why that piece of power just spawned right there. You know, just to make things as uncomfortable as possible. So, the Armos fight coming up for Jums is actually quite different. Well, the strat isn't too much different, but the timing of these arrow fires is much different with Piece of Power, because you knock them farther away, but you don't do any extra damage. And yeah, the timing is just a little bit weird, and Jums losing an arrow there. Arrows are pretty tight in this run, and right now, Jums has got 11 arrows, which is a tiny bit on the low side. Just a tiny bit. It's a manageable number, but wasting one or two more can prove to be problematic. Meanwhile, I'm sorry, I wasn't concentrated on Lime's feed. Lime did end up getting the Slime Meal Skip. Looks like you got it okay. And going back in to get his hook shot. While Jums enters D6, Jums has about, I want to say about a 2.5 minute lead at this point. Somewhere between 2.5 and 3 minutes. And entering Dungeon 6. Dungeon 6 is my favorite dungeon in the run, as well as just in general, probably. So there's a pretty major skip in Dungeon 6 as well. That we just kind of call the D6 wall ride, because that's exactly what it is. There's a particular spot later where you can actually just get on the wall and surf on it. Oh, this Moldorm is being a huge troll for Jums. I hate that Moldorm. It's one of my least favorite old Moldorms in the game. It's between that one and the one that guards the first chest in Dungeon 1. It's gotta be that one. It's close. It's close between the two. Well, Lime powering his way through the Armos maze. Yeah, and you'll see how much less knockback Lime gets on this this Armos Knight without Piece of Power compared to Jums, who did have it. He kind of got crowded there. He got crowded. He's got to get away. He's got to do an alt strat. Couldn't quite get that last arrow off. He just missed it. He missed another one. Okay, so yeah, Lime may have an arrow situation here. He's got 10 arrows. He's got one less arrow than Jums entering Dungeon 6. Meanwhile, Jumps entering the room with the D6 wall ride right here. So if you dash jump from the top of that staircase onto that little brazier right there, and the transition and the slide, and well done. Good stuff. So that, so we're essentially now going backwards. No, we're not going backwards. But we did skip a lot of Dungeon 6. We're not going backwards, though. I lied. You go backwards in LADX. You don't go backwards here. Unless the route changed. But back when I ran LADX, we went backwards through this dungeon. So Dodongo Snakes once again. Thankfully, the final Dodongo Snake fight in the run. Does anybody actually like these guys at all? Like anyone? Literally any person at all, ever? I didn't think so. Anyway, you have the only chest in the game, I think, that you have to throw a pot at to open it. You have to throw a pot at it. There's no other way to open it. To get the Nightmare Key for Dungeon 6, we're going to go up here to get this key real quick, and then head back down. Now we're going to go backwards through Dungeon 6. Now we're going backwards. So we're going to make a very quick detour in Dungeon 6 here to grab another Tracy Potion, which is going to prove useful later. It's going to influence where we end up on the D7 Hinox Warp, which I will explain once we get there. I'll explain Hinox Warps probably after this dungeon. A really nice fight there from Jones. A piece of powerless ball grabbing first fight. Yeah, that's the correct terminology. That's the proper name for it. So Jumps is going to be entering Facade. And Facade is one of the reasons why Dungeon 6 is my favorite dungeon. Meanwhile, Lime, surfing on the wall, surfing in the USA. And successfully completing that skip. But Facade is really interesting if you focus on Jumps' game for a bit. So this is just the face in the floor, right? How can this guy be exciting? Well, it turns out you can actually speed this fight up quite a bit by using bomb arrows, like we just did. You can save 2 arrows as well by just using bombs for the second and third hits. But now it's all bomb arrows. You can just bomb arrow the tiles that fly at you, and it's a really, really neat fight. Really neat fight, and a good fight there for Jumps. I'm dealing with these Dodongo Snakes, and that top one was a little bit of a troll, but Jumps finishing Dungeon 6 at a time of 47:41. Someone remember that so we can get a comparison after Lime finishes. 47:41. So after this cutscene with the owl, Jumps is going to be warping to Yukuku Prairie, and we're going to take the steps needed to witness the best concert known to mankind and frogkind. And the song that we learn there is going to allow us to perform necromancy. No, I'm not joking, by the way. It's a thing. It's a thing that's in this game. So Jump's doing the signpost maze. These signs are the same every time. Thankfully, they are not randomized. You have to read these signs all in order before entering the lair, the place, the room, before entering the room with Wart, where Wart teaches you the Frog Song of Soul, which requires 300 rupees, which we conveniently got in Dungeon 3. So, focusing on a conversation in chat, since there's not much to talk about right now, you still need the boots to do the bomb jump, or to do the boots jump across the hole. So, like, you do need the boots to finish Dungeon 4 still. I will lay in on that. Oh, you know what? Since I never did it on Jumps' screen. That's the noise Facade makes. Sorry, I completely forgot to do that on Jumps' screen. I was too busy explaining the fight. I was too busy being a good commentator. Explaining the fight. Being informative. Okay, now Jumps is warping to Yukuku Prairie once again, and we are going to go perform the necromancy. You know what? Whoever's controlling the volume of the streams, can we get volume on Lime's feed for Frog Song so that I can you know, avoid the pitchforks here? Thank you. Put down your pitchforks, okay? Okay, so before Lime gets to Frog Song, I'm gonna explain Hedox Warps and what Jumps is about to do with the rooster real quick. So Jumps is about to do something called early D8. We're going to use the rooster to do something called an air climb, which is basically tricking the game into thinking that this ladder over by Dungeon 8 is longer than it actually is, so that we can climb up about double the height, jump on some invisible collision up to the platform on D8, and then once we're in D8, we're going to do something called a Hinox Warp. A Hinox Warp is, well, frankly, it's pretty stupid. A Hinox Warp is when you take damage, unfortunately missing the first time on early D8. So Hinox Warp is when you take damage on the same frame that the Hinox grabs you. It is a frame-perfect trick. And Jumps will be doing that using bomb arrows. And a very specific setup. It is a very precise trick, but there is a setup for it in both D8 and Dungeon 7. And the way we think that Hinox Warp works, because there's there is documentation and there is data to explain this particular theory. But the way we think it works is like when the Hinox grabs you, the game essentially warps you from where you are to where the Hinox's hand is. Oh, that was an interesting strat there from Lime. I've never seen anyone do that. That is interesting. With the hook shot. But anyway. So taking damage, we think, kind of just interrupts the flag that tells the game to stop warping you after you reach the hand. And the result is magical. But I'm going to shut up now. Alright, there's your uninterrupted frog song. I better be getting paid extra for that. Anyway. Jums looked like he got the Hinox Warp on the second try. Looked like he was, judging by his health, looked like he was maybe a frame late on the first try and then got it on the second try, so that's perfect. Good stuff. Second try is not bad at all. Honestly, I think anything before the first extra load, because if you do run low on health trying that, you do need to auto load to try again. So coming up on another quite volatile part of the run, these gigantic evil meatballs keep falling on you, and there's nothing you can do to avoid them sometimes, but handling it well is Jums. And now we can walk on the mountain, because for whatever reason there's collision on this mountain. And jumping back in bounds. Meanwhile, Lime approaching early D8. Jum's having a very good bird key cave there as well. Getting the jump around the rocks too, which can be a little bit scary. So Lime's going to be doing another air climb here, and another one. Oh, not quite getting on the ladder. There we go. A little bit of seam walking here. Or actually, I'm not sure if this is a proper seam walk, but it's a wall walk at the very least. Oh, what happened? Oh, it looked like Lime, Oh, he ran out of arrows or bombs. Yeah, he's really short on bombs. I think he had to auto-load. I was focusing on Jums' screen, but yeah, Lime does have 3 bombs right now, which is the pretty much the bare minimum you want to have at this point. So if he misses once on the Hinox Warp, he will have to pick up extra bombs. In fact, he will have to anyway. He'll have to pick up extra bombs either in D7 or in the Skull Cave. Meanwhile, Jums is approaching the final Hinox Warp of the run, which does require a much more extensive setup than the D8 Hinox Warp does, because it is much more precise. So, I mentioned that they got the potion earlier, and that does influence where you end up for this Hinox Warp skip. Basically, what it does is it prolongs the amount of time that Link is warping around the dungeon. Meanwhile, Lime did get Hinox Warp first try. Very nicely done. He kind of needed that, actually. He kind of needed that with his bomb situation. Meanwhile, Jum's entering the Hinox. Let's see what frame he gets. Oh, he held down left. Oh, that's... Oh, yeah, he needs health. Okay. Yeah, he held down left by mistake, it looks like. So he needs to reset up the trick, which does involve a bunch of bonking there. That's actually very careful X-coordinate manipulation. And then leaving and re-entering the room also influences X-coordinate so that it lines you up well for this trick. And I can't quite tell. It looks like he's getting the eagle. Yep, he got the eagle fight. So there's a 3-frame window for having that Hinox warp be beneficial to a runner in any way. There's a 3-frame window for it. In order, the first frame will send you to the room before the boss. The second frame will send you to where it sent Jums, right next to the I'm just gonna call him Sands. I don't know what else to call him. We'll send you right there, right next to Sands, and the final frame will send you right to the instrument room. So obviously you want the instrument room, but the important thing is to get that 3-frame window. Anything else will send you to just like a kind of nonsense place in the dungeon. I think like anything late, and it'll send you to the ballroom, which is a couple of rooms northeast, and anything early will send you to the I think there's one frame that sends you to the mirror shield chest. Jum's pulling off a pretty decent eagle fight, it looks like. We're getting some synchronizing on Lime's stream. Jums is going to be exiting Dungeon 7 at 1 hour and 32 seconds. So it looks like if D4 goes well and Genie Skip is pulled off, this is looking like probably a 112-ish, 113-ish, whoops, 113-ish pace, I believe. But Genie Skip is a hard trick, so see if the runners can pull it off. So Jums is heading to Dungeon 4, which we did do half of earlier, or more than half of even.
Yo, TGH, I got something to say real quick.
What's up?
All right, so you've been saying Hinox out here, right? It's Hinox. That's just all I had to say, right?
Nah, it's Hinox. Proper Japanese pronunciation is Hinox.
Well,
don't challenge me on this.
Well, listen. So, I'm actually a gaming god. So, I think it's.
Well, I'm a gaming atheist.
Shit!
How's that? Alright, so, anyway. That happened. So Jums is going to be finishing Dungeon 4 really quick here. We're going to be coming up on the Anglerfish. We'll see which strat. Let's see what frame did Lime get. He might have got an instrument. I think he did. Lime got the instrument room. What a god. Lime gets the instrument room. Which is going to save him about, I think he saved a total of probably about 1 minute and 40 seconds there on Jums, because Jums did have the readjustment where he left the room and came back in. and then got the eagle fight. So there's a little bit of a makeup there on Lime's side. We'll see if it's we'll see if it proves to be what's the correct word I'm looking for here? We'll see if it proves to be worth it. I think there's still a pretty major discrepancy between the two runners right now. Pretty huge distance. Jumns appears to be about still, even with Lime getting the instrument room, unfortunately for Lime, Jumms seems to be getting the instrument about a little over 2 minutes faster than Lime will, I believe, assuming D4 goes well for Lime. So, something I didn't mention, by the way, is that both the D4 pattern that you just saw Lime do, the D4 puzzle pattern, that's supposed to be random, but it's actually not. That's actually manipulated for before the run started. So both these runners are using a pre-made file that's already been manipulated. And it also determines your egg path. So both players know exactly what their egg path is going to be without having to do the trade sequence and getting the magnifying lens and all that. So this room on Jumms' side can be pretty variable. Ooh, yeah, that was a troll. That was a troll arrow, or troll spear rather. Spear from the hooded Stalfos there. You have to kill those 3 enemies in the right order. Pole's voice first, Key second, hooded Stalfos third, or else you will not get that chest to spawn. So here we go. I did say I was going to explain Genie Skip, so I might as well do it right before the fight. Oh, missing the boots jump. There we go. Also, that's a neat little bonus of coming here with boots too, is you get to jump over that and avoid having to weigh down the platform. But here we have Genie Skip. So what we're going to do here is we're going to wait for Genie to throw his fireballs at you, and then he's going to charge at you. The idea is to, upon him charging at you, have him actually clip you out of the southern door. And upon re-entering the room after clipping out, the Genie's just going to not fight you. He was a little bit late on the jump, unfortunately. Yeah, so the little wiggle that the pot did there means that it was a late jump. It was a slightly late jump. This trick is hard. There's not a terrific cue for it. It looks like he's going to try it again. Yeah, and sometimes it just doesn't work, period. Like, the height of the pot just doesn't cooperate. Yeah, and this time he's gonna forego the Genie Skip. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. This trick requires the boots, by the way. It does require the boots. Once you clip into the pot, you want to hold the boots, and that's what allows you to clip out. You basically just charge into the pot. Who would win in a rap battle, Lime or Jums? So I've never heard either of these players rap. But you know what? I don't know. Maybe we should have them duke it out in a post-race interview. Maybe. That's not for me to decide. That's for you to decide. It's for the people to decide. We'll see. Alright, so Lime will be attempting Genie Skip here as well. In slow motion, apparently. And apparently, unfortunately, a little bit early on the jump. Unfortunate that neither runner... Well, Lime's gonna try it again. We'll see. It's very hard to get it on the on any time that isn't the first try. Yeah, and the same thing happened to Lime. That happened to Jums. It's just, sometimes the height of the pot just doesn't line up correctly. It doesn't like he's gonna try the reverse Genie Skip now on the upper wall. We'll see if this works. I'm kidding. This isn't a thing, but. Yeah, so unfortunately, both runners having to fight Genie the vanilla way. Lime actually missed like the 2-cycle Genie. You can get Genie in 2 cycles. I think Jums did. I think Jums got it in 2 cycles. But Lime completing the fight. And we'll head to the egg shortly. Meanwhile, Jums actually entering the egg as we speak, and once again, as I mentioned earlier, he already knows his pattern. He already knows which way to go. I don't know what his pattern is, but he does. That's all that matters. Oh, I think he's actually got the I think he's got the 36-2 seed. Yeah, the right up, left up pattern. I might have added one extra up in there. My apologies. I'm sorry for being wrong on the internet. So yeah, this race this race was definitely thrown way off on Lime's side, unfortunately, with the failure of AK Skip. I think everything else has been pretty even on either side, but AK Skip is just that volatile. It can and will lose you a race, which is unfortunate. Lime did definitely make up some time though with the instant room in Dungeon 7. And meanwhile, we have Jums in the second phase of the boss, which is Aghanim. Shoutouts to Link to the Past. Shoutouts to Blue Balls. And Jum's getting 3 blue balls in a row, which means this ball is, at least you'll have solace in the fact that this ball will definitely be a normal one. There we go. And there's nothing. Jum's getting very bad luck here. But barring an absolute travesty on Jum's side, this race does seem to be pretty insurmountably in favor of Jums. As we have Lime entering the egg now, Jums at about a 2 to 2.5 minute advantage. That's a pure estimate. Probably not exactly that. Yeah, Jumns will be entering the Death Eye part of the fight with 12 arrows and 4 hearts of health. Opening up right away as Death Eye. Wow, that was a very quick open. So Death Eye sort of, in a way, trying to make up for Aghanim's nonsense. And here we go, 2 more hits on Death Eye, and this run and this race is over. Jumns will be finishing with a 114. And that's time. Jumns finishing the race with an official racetime.gg time of 1:14:07. The GG's to Jumns with the thumbs up flash. The webcam thumbs up flash, celebratory. And since the racers were so close, it's all right. I'd like to. We'll wait until Lime finishes before inviting Jumns in for a post-race interview. So we'll have them both do interviews simultaneously. Nice quick kill on Mulder. That was actually really, really good on Lime's side. It didn't even move. That was about as good as it gets. Oh, he does. Okay, he let go of his spin slash a little bit early though, and he's got to avoid bats now. He's down to 1 heart. Oh, this is not good for Lime. This is not good for Lime. Oh, you hate to see that. You hate to see that. You know, the race is over already, but you still hate to see that. That feels bad. He just let go of the sword of the spin slash a little bit too early, and it cost him. So here we go again. So I didn't really explain anything about the final boss, and my apologies on that. The final boss has 7 phases. You have the Blob form, the Aghanim form, the Moldorm form, the Ganon form. Excuse me, there are 6 phases. The Lanmola form, and then the Death Eye form. Blob form just takes 3 bits of powder, and that's it. And Aghanim. So the way Aghanim works is you have your normal balls, right? So the first ball is always normal and deflectible, completely deflectable, and then from that point on, you have a 50-50 chance of getting either a blue ball but a normal ball. But that ball right there was guaranteed to be a blue ball, because if you get 3 in a row of one, you have to get the other. Like, the game will force the other on you. And that's actually really unfortunate, but at least this one is guaranteed to be a normal, because you got 3 right away. And then 3 blue balls in a row. Nice quick kill on Moldorm. Alright, let's see if he can get redemption on Ganon. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Just a little bit longer. And it's a perfect fight. So that is unfortunate. But here we go. The final phase of the fight. So, interesting. Something interesting here now is Lime does have exactly 10 arrows, and Deatheye takes 10 arrows to fight. And kill. Yeah, he's gotta. Yeah. Sometimes the cycle just doesn't quite line up right. It is random when he opens his eye. Oh, that was risky. That was really risky right there. He could have gotten knocked off. Yeah, he better not take that one. Oh boy. You better not take that one. All right, Lime finishing the race with an official racetime.gg time. What did I just say? Official racetime.gg time. Yeah, there we go. I said that right. Of 1:19:50.
Got it. I split a little late there. That's
it's okay.
bad.
It's okay. It's fine. And we're joined by Lime and Jumns. GG's to both of you on what was a really good race throughout.
Great race.
Yeah, super, super good. Yeah, unfortunately, AK skip was rough for Lime, and maybe it didn't determine, I think it would have been a really close race, like even closer if not for AK skip going a little bit wrong for Lime. It's just,
if I got AK skip and Genie skip, I would be in a lot better of a position, but I think I still would have lost because my dungeons in general were pretty bad. Like my D6 was really bad.
I mean, taking away like what happened on the final boss, because there might have been like a bit of a lack of focus involved there, because that happens, especially in that situation. But yeah, so but like putting that aside, I think it might have even been in favor of you overall for the race if those two things had gone well. But so GG's to Jumns, you are moving on in the lower bracket. How are you feeling moving forward?
I'm feeling great. I think they have like 3 matches to do, or maybe 2 matches before it gets to me, so I get a little bit of a break here for the next match. Good
stuff. But unfortunately though, Lime, your tournament is over for now. But you had a really good showing, and of course you were like the main organizer of this event. So you're the reason we're here right now.
Winner.
So yeah. Awesome tournament. Great showing.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun that round. I didn't play as well as I would have liked to on the game I would have lost on, because I'm gonna be honest, going into it, I kind of knew I was gonna lose to Jumps. All right, let's be real here. I was like, okay, I'm gonna lose, but I'm gonna give it my all. I'm gonna do my best. All right, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna play. Okay, I'm gonna play some Link's Awakening. But yeah, I still had a good time. Run was a little bit subpar. It's this fun fact: second run in this tournament, I died on Nightmare.
You let go of the spin slash just like a couple of frames early, it seemed, or like maybe even
it was just like a little bit early, and I have a bad habit with that of like trying to do it too quick with
and that's just it's such a punishing mistake. It's a small mistake, but it's such a punishing mistake, and just like AK skip, it's just like something that's just barely wrong can cost you like several minutes sometimes in this game, and that's just the way it goes. Like this could have gone either way. You guys are both great runners, both awesome runners. Of course, Jumps second place in any percent, and Lime the current 100% world record holder, battling out together. So it was a great race for everyone to watch.
Indeed.
So
after this tournament, I'm probably gonna go back to 100% because I think I'd rather try and make that world record better than try and get like a sub 110 90%.
Sick.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So there is actually an interesting question brought up in chat during the race. Someone asked me, and I had no idea how to answer since I'm not an expert on this at all. Someone asked me, who would win in a rap battle between Lime and Jums, and I couldn't answer. The only way I knew how to answer was to promise the people what they want. What do you guys think?
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. We're
Jumps may
it.
beat me in Link's Awakening, but I'm definitely gonna win in a rap battle. That's just how it is. I mean, this guy doesn't even have a Lime 1 swag emote. It's just how it is. I don't think he's capable. I really don't think he's capable. Do it right now.
I mean, at the restreamer, I'll allow it to happen for a little bit before I send us off because we got some time.
We can't leave this unconcluded. It has to be decided right now.
Beatbox? TGH, you gonna lay down a beatbox? Like, you got a beat going?
No. I'm not.
Wow.
This man just commentated all his own.
Hop in and start us off.
Jumps, I'll let you go first.
No, I get the second verse. Come on.
You won the race. Clearly, you're trying to go fast. So you can go first. I'll let you get the first.
Champion gets the second verse. That's how it works. The rhyme film.
Nah, champion gets first verse. That's how it is. Yeah, I mean, I got rhyme in my name. This guy. True. Well, what does Jums even rhyme with?
That's a good question.
Sums of best? What? That doesn't even make any sense. This guy is crazy.
Oh, no.
I was thinking that one, but I didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
So there you have it. There's your answer.
Even off on a cliffhanger.
Lime confirmed to have better rhymes than Jums in this situation.
True.
That's true.
So yeah. The undisputed victor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I should just mark me as the winner since I really blew him out of the water.
That's how it works.
Yeah. Should make all races like that.
It's only fair.
All right, but yeah, I don't really have any other questions. Honestly, that was the big question that was on everybody's mind, including mine. But yeah, anyway, so that this was a fun match to commentate for sure. I'm glad I could finally come out to commentate one of these. My schedule is kind of crap for the stuff, but glad I could make it out. Yeah, any last words from the runners, Lime or Jums?
I just want to give a shout out to Digon. He did an awesome commentary job. Give a shout out to Baluriak. He made a nice cameo on stream. That was pretty cool.
Shout out to the Shack Offs coming this Christmas.
Shout out to the Shack Offs.
Those are coming. That's gonna happen.
Drop, don't stop.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all I gotta say.
That's about it.
Okay.
All the shout outs we got.
All right.
Shout outs to TGH too. This guy.
Of course.
Yes, for commentating this for us.
It was fun.
Commentating this and for being good at the game. I mean, that's just crazy. Like, what's going on there?
It was a lot of fun to commentate.
At the start, he was like, I was going on saying that I'll just leave it to the professional, because I'm like, he knows what he's doing. I don't. I'm new to this community, and I'm grateful that I got to restream this for y'all.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you did a great job. Thank you. Thanks for restreaming. Thanks to ZSR for restreaming all the runs, and thanks to Lime as well for organizing this whole thing. We'll put out a feeler as well. So Strackle and I are playing our match tomorrow, and we need commentators for this to be restreamed. So if anybody's willing.
Yes,
honestly,
yes.
I think I might.
Okay.
I think I might do
all right, awesome. Yeah, because like I was frustrated because my match versus EDL last week wasn't restreamed because there was no commentators. So yeah, I was.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. That was I just my schedule didn't align with that. I would have loved to commentate that match, but
I think it's just the time of day I don't know. Like
Yeah.
the late AM is just kind of weird. But this is a Saturday, so I figured it might be different. But
Yeah.
oh well.
Yeah.
I think I'd be able to make that. So.
Either way,
I guess I'll go over the schedule for what's going on Saturday for CSR. As we've already mentioned, there are going to be 2 Link's Awakening matches going on tomorrow. Actually, technically today, wherever you are, I don't know. But we have another one coming up later today at 2 p.m. UTC time of Shackles versus TGH. So that should be an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
We have the MM Rando Weekly race going on around 4 UTC. Our Wind Waker Randomizer bi-weekly fun race going on at 7 p.m. UTC time. And also the NA Weekly for OOT going on at 10 p.m. UTC time. So all of those should be some fun races to catch if you're interested in any of those. And with that, I just want to thank again TGH for commentating us and to the whole LAS community for letting me restream this. This was actually quite an experience for me to get to see how y'all do the runs. And,
For sure.
Honestly, yeah. And with that, I think we are going to head on out of here. We're going to be rating DSR1. They are currently in the middle of their AOTTP randomizer tournament of Grandpa's Game 4 of Andy versus Win-Win. It looks like they're slowly getting to the end, so we're going to send the raid over to them. And yeah, I guess we will see y'all later.
Peace out. Bye, everyone.
Peace.
Bye.